We good?
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Blake, and it's my partner, Allie. During this category analysis project, we looked into the category of transportation and freight just because we noticed a lot of transactions that were made, and we want to look into it further and go more in depth into it. So if we go to the next slide, Allie will get more into it.
Why is it working?
Allie, go to the next slide. There we go.
So just some overview of transportation and freight. We spend about $2,789,863.33 on this, making up about 2.03% of the entire spend by the university. So some of these are just like the basics, so we know this right off the bat. Minimally managed between around 3 different categories that I'll explain later. Some of those categories being transportation and repair, maintenance, professional engineering services, passenger transport, motor vehicles, materials, packing and handling, mail cargo transport, fuel, business administration, and services. Materials, packing, and handling take up more than half of transportation and freight costs, being about 66%. And here's the chart basically showing the spend that we do on the transportation and freight. As you see, 66% materials, packing, and handling. And then that 5% for motor vehicles is a very high spend within the university, and so is fuel with small transactions, as you can see in this chart over here. We spend about $1,129,335.43 on materials, packing, and handling, about $427,252 on fuel, and then the motor vehicles is about $106,000.
Materials and handling, I really found this category especially being very minimally managed because I noticed there were a lot of transactions made from, I want to say over 100 different suppliers that were very low cost. So I'm wondering, it made me wonder what the actual purchases were and how they are being monitored. I wish I kind of had more information of what they were actually buying versus like just seeing the supplier and what was paid for it. To kind of get a true value of what we were buying. But because of this, I thought it was very minimally managed. Ways that we could fix it is downsizing the suppliers, enable more attention to transaction cost, would likely decrease if we did that because of all the small transactions made. Then if we go to the next slide, I can kind of go into detail on the UPS and FedEx one. So I really noticed that there are 3 very similar companies that were used in this subcategory of what's it called? Materials, packing, and handling. If you see, like UPS has 645 transactions with a cost of over $99,000, and the average cost is $154. But a very similar company to UPS is FedEx, which only used 26 transactions. And the cost was $54,315, but the average is much higher than the UPS average. So I noticed another thing is the United States Postal Service, they tend to only ship smaller packages and mail to people. So that's similar to what I noticed what UPS is doing, because it's very clear that UPS is shipping. We are using UPS to ship lower quality, but higher quantities. So if we can combine those two, that might be able to save some costs there. And what I noticed with the FedEx, or we can also do this because FedEx, we were using high quality, lower quantity type products we were using through FedEx, but we could also merge UPS and FedEx together. I think a goal here is to cut one of these suppliers from this list, and I think there's an opportunity to save money there because they are all 3 very similar companies and suppliers.
So another big spend the university has is fuel, as I mentioned. that $427,252 with 2,559 transactions. So they're using multiple suppliers that are just random so wherever drivers can stop and get fuel, they're doing, which are small dollar amounts, but each transaction quickly adds up. And I feel as if it's not very well managed. Like, are these drivers actually stopping and getting fuel every time? What are the details on what they're going in and actually spending using the university's money?
This one was a little bit more easy to analyze, and not many assumptions really had to be made on what we were purchasing here. The category is motor vehicles. So they only had 2 suppliers and 4 total transactions, which made it actually really easy to analyze and break down. So we have the supplier of Bob Robinson. The cost we use there is $52,218.90 and a total of 2 transactions, which made the average cost per transaction $26,109.45. Then we also have Stephen Auto Center, which the cost was $53,813 with a total of 2 transactions made, which made the average cost $26,906.50. So assuming that we are buying motor vehicles, which is the category, I thought we could cut a supplier again here and just use one of them. And the supplier we should end up using is Bob Robinson, because we will be able to save, if we do all 4 transactions with Bob Robinson's company, the WVU can save $1,594.10, which brings down the total cost from $106,031.90 to $104,437. $104,437.80. And $1,500 might not seem like a lot, but when I think we are minimally managing how we're spending, especially in this category, I think $1,500 can go a long way. And we can use it into other aspects we can use that $1,500 to other things that we may need to use it for.
So some of the opportunities within the transportation and freight, costs can be cut by reducing the number of suppliers, as Blake said, mostly within the materials and packing and handling category. Limiting the number of suppliers in transportation, repair, maintenance services, and using a single supplier will also save you money down the road. And then more management within the spending of fuels, the materials, packing, handling category, and other necessities will also save the university lots of money, with more attention being held on those small transactions that quickly add up over time. Switching to just one motor vehicle supplier, as he said, will save you about $1,600, which down the road can come in handy. And then avoid purchasing the unnecessary items, more routine buys, things that make sense, not small unnecessary items that need to be bought.
The risk of limiting suppliers, which is the risk of limiting suppliers, we came up with different ideas that we might run into some problems, but those problems can be, one, becomes an issue for the university if the supplier becomes unreliable. This becomes a problem because we want our products to be there at the time we expect it there, and if they become unreliable, we really don't have anyone else to fall back on. So that's a problem. It could be a serious cost disruption if not analyzed appropriately. Then another one is to limit risks. Be sure to share stakeholders understand the supplier selection process. So this would make sure that everyone's on the same page and there's no disagreements going on, and everyone knows exactly where their money is going to. So it keeps everyone's temper level down and everyone's agreeing. Then we have, by limiting the suppliers, you take away the competition between suppliers and vendors, potentially being a disadvantage to the university, because now you don't have people competing against each other. So that incentive of doing it is kind of gone now. Then there might be possible contracts the university might have with these suppliers especially the ones that we use quite frequently, like UPS, the United States Postal Service, and FedEx. So that could be tricky to get out of. So they'll have to find ways to get out of there. But all in all, this category has a lot of transactions, but you're not going to be able to limit the transactions. But because there are over 100 suppliers in this category, it becomes very hard to analyze what everyone's doing and what exactly we are buying. I kind of wish we had information on what each purchase was, so we can kind of put more of a value and see what that purchase is actually going to, and kind of value if we really need it or not. And also, if we limit the suppliers, those over 24,000, not 24,000, 2,400 transactions will become much more easy to read and manage and kind of see where that money's going. But due to so many suppliers, it kind of gets hard to look at where's this money going and what's it going to. But all in all, I think limiting suppliers in this category would definitely help the university save a lot of money. We found out that we can definitely save, what was it, Allie, $1,400, $1,500 in the motor vehicles?
1,600, I think, yeah.
1,600, yeah, around there. We know we can save that much, but when it comes to materials and handling, I really can't put a number on how much we can save, but I know we can save money. Thank you.
Thank you.